Let me ask you a question. You ever been out in the field and you seen one of these type of fittings? Yeah, they're rare, but when you do find them, they're monstrous, heavy, and all kinds of shapes. So stay tuned, and we'll go over the fabrication process of how to make one of these. And you can make one just like this out in the field. You don't even have to have a shop environment. Stay tuned. What we're going to do is we're going to take a 4x10 horizontal and we're going to go to a 10x4 vertical, okay? And we're going to do that in a 12-inch span, and we're flat on bottom. So that's where we're going to start, is on the bottom section, and we're going to build up from there. So I got my piece of sheet metal, 26 gauge piece of sheet metal. It's 12 inches in length, 12 inches in width. And this is going to be the bottom section, the flat piece. And we're going to Pittsburgh the sides. So we'll go ahead and get our 1-inch working lines in all the way around. My goal is to help, whether you're doing it out in the field or you're in the shop, get you a piece of paper, lay out your design, and then you'll be a lot better off than putting 2 oversized rectangle boxes together and cutting holes in it and using a gallon of duct sealant, mastic. All right, so this is what we're going to call a center flare, and we're going to find our center line, and we're going to build everything off of that. So we go to the edge of our sheet metal, we line up 6 inches, because this is 12 inches across, and that's our center. And then we go up here and we do the same thing, 6 inches there on the edge of the metal, draw our center line in there, okay, and then we connect the 2 lines together. And the reason we're doing this is because we got to have a center flare, which means we're going to, both our side pieces are going to be equal in length. So this is going to be our 12-inch here. This is going to end up being our 6-inch here. So we put our 3-inch on the center line, 3-inch mark on the center line. Put a mark out here. Then we back that up 1 inch, because this is going to be our Pittsburgh we're doing. So we got 1 inch right there. And then we do the same thing on this side. 3 inch. Wind up on 3 inch, put our mark in. Back it up 2 inches. Get our mark in. And if we've done it right, this should be 4 inches, which it is. There's our mark, 4 inch, right there. So that's our 4-inch opening. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our outside. And our outside, and you always need to be in between your working lines when you do this, because if you go out to the corner and corner, you're going to be wrong. So go to the edge. Your working line's right there. Working line is right there. Come up here to that. Put in your mark. Now, I realize you don't have to do the other mark, but I do it because it helps people visualize what we're doing, what we're building. Plus, you can always go back and get your measurements on it as well. So you know before you cut it, things are right. Okay. So now we just cut the outside out, and then this is our Pittsburgh we're going to run, and it's on a center line flare right there. So we get our snips. Now I am doing this with scrap metal just to illustrate how to build this thing, whether you're in the field or in the shop. You can build it in the field just as easy as you can in the shop. You just don't have the luxury of the machinery to put your Pittsburgh's seams in. But you can always use a flap, 1-inch flap, to get everything together. Always want to cut these back a little bit at an angle. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit, because our Pittsburgh, if we don't cut it back, is going to extend past our fitting. And may have to do some adjustment cuttings after the Pittsburgh has been ran through there. I'm trying to eliminate as much cutting as possible. So there's our piece. Now we just need to run our Pittsburgh. Okay, so there's our bottom piece. That's 10-inch to 4-inch with our Pittsburgh seams. And now we need to build the sides. And each side is going to be an equal length. So I've already got the blank cut out. And we get our drawing back out over here. One side's got to be 10 inches and the other side has got to drop down to 4 inches. And we got to add a 1/4 inch in each side. So this is going to be a 10.5 and this is going to be 4.5. And the length on this is actually a little over 12 inches. It is measuring the length on that, it's 12.5 inches in length. So we got 12.5 inches in length right there. We got 10.5 right there, so that completes our one side. So let's go ahead And let's get our marks on there. This is going to be our 1/4 inch mark at the bottom. And we're going to have our 1 inch mark right here. And a 1 inch mark right here. 1 inch mark right there. And if we want to, we can draw a little 1/4 inch line right here on this 10 inch side, because this is my side. I'm going to make 10 inches and we're going to reduce 4 inches over here. So I've already got the piece cut for the 10.5. Now I need to come over here and make that 4.5. So I'm going to put my ruler right here, 4.5 on the outside edge of this metal. 4.5, put in my mark. I'm going to back it up 1/4 inch. So that's going to be 1.25 inches on the outside. And my inside measurement is from here to here, 4 inches. And that's what we need. Same thing as we did on the Pittsburgh. We'll go to the outside edge at the working line. To the edge of the work on the inside of the working line. Always in between the working lines for your measurements. Always. Okay. So there's our piece right there. Now we cut this out. And remember, this is equal lengths. Each side is equal lengths. So this is going to be my blank for the other side. In other words, I'm going to copy it. Okay, so before I cut any of my notches out, I'm going to leave them as is. Grab my other blank over here. And remember, this has got to be the opposite. Got to be the opposite, so that means we got to flip it this way. This piece has got to go this way. Line it up. Get it lined up right there. Draw a line right there. There's our other piece. Cut that out. Before I cut that out, I'm just going to go ahead and put our mark in here. So this is going to be 1/4 inch up here. It's going to be 1 inch. 1 inch there. 1/4 inch down here. And 1 inch right there. All right. So now we're going to cut. Going to cut. Last thing to do is a 1/4 inch right here. So there's our notches we need to cut. Okay, after we get our cross break put in our piece of metal, side piece there, we want to go ahead and bend our 1/4 inch flange. So we line it up there. Get this lined up on the corner there, just like that. Give us a 1/4 inch bend. Sorry you guys are in the way. And the same thing down here at the bottom. There it is. 1/4 inch flange to go in our Pittsburgh. Okay, I went ahead and laid out the top piece and put our bends in it because it is pitched on an angle. May have to adjust these a little bit here in a few minutes. You lay the top piece out exactly the same way as we did the bottom piece with your center line flare. The only difference is that this piece was longer and it was 13 7/8 to make that distance to make this distance. So all we gotta do now is put it together and see if it comes out like it's supposed to. Okay, got our pieces together, starting to take shape. Go ahead and get our last piece on. Get it put together. So far everything seems to be coming out right. So we got the 4 by 10 horizontal to the 4 by 10 vertical. If you guys building this out in the field and you don't have access to shop tools such as Pittsburgh, you just make each side 1 inch and use S-locks. Go back to our paper. It's supposed to have 4 inches by 10 inches and 4 inches by 10 inches, and it's supposed to be 12 inch. So let's take a look at our measurements here. We got 10 by 4, 10 by 4, may have to bend it just a little bit. Always room for adjusting. So you got 4 by 10. And what was our length supposed to be? 12 inches. 12 inches was our length. 12 inches. Hey guys, if you liked the video, how about give me a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe while you're at it. It just helps me, doesn't cost anything. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, give me a comment down below. And just remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.